Hey there, guys. This is Rogar. I hope you guys are doing well. This is what Bell was in high school DXT. Now, for those who don't know, my birthday was last week, so I am a year older. We've gone through all of my back catalog that I had started writing during my mom's passing to keep me out of being depressed. So I hope you guys will enjoy this last one that was on the list. I'll start working on old what ifs again, including my web novel stuff again as well. And I'm going to try to do it on my day shifts where I have more time after my shifts, but I've been working basically 35 to 42 hours a week, so you can understand why I don't have much time to write. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great day. We'll get started with this what if, and if you really enjoy it, please tell me because this is one I really want to do later on, but I kind of need your guys' opinion on it to make it a permanent stay for later. Like with all the other what ifs, till we get done with the old ones, this will stay in one shot territory, but I hope it's a good enough one shot for right now. That being said, I hope you guys enjoy. Wife Bell was in high school DXC, so let's get started. A little 4-year-old white-haired boy was running from a horde of monsters that completely destroyed his village, killed his grandfather before his eyes, with his mother and father screaming at him to run. It was the last thing he saw before he heard their screams. He was running into the night, tears streaming down his face, trying not to cry, trying not even to be loud, trying to make no sound, since he could alert that horde of monsters that were surrounding everything. He reached a dead end and realized there was no hope left. He was doomed. The monsters finally then caught up to him. They had him completely surrounded. They seemed to be licking their lips, like they were satisfied with this, like they couldn't wait to end his life. But as the boy closed his eyes for death and prepared himself, he still screamed out from his soul, screaming he wanted to be a hero more than anything. He wanted to save the world, protect people he cared about, but he was so powerless right now. He heard a voice, a feeble one. It seemed to be calming and understanding and nurturing, saying, "Do you wish to live and be a hero?" The young boy responded, "Yes, I want to live and be a hero with all my heart." The voice then asked, "Why do you want to be a hero so badly then?" I was saying simple, so I can make sure this never happens to anyone again. I never want to see this happen to anyone. So I can prove this world that my family was right about me, that I have the destiny of a hero. This made the voice laugh and chuckle, then say, "Maybe that's why you're my perfect host. Okay, let's get you out of here, my pal, good buddy, friend of mine, whatever you want to be called. We're going to my world." With that, the monsters charged at him, but a portal opened underneath his feet. The young boy sinked into it, all enough re-emerging. He started tumbling downward, not seeing where he was going, and crashed into someone, hearing a cute eep noise, but soon passed out. We go to a scene much earlier, just before the portal, seeing a very young, red-haired girl as she walked into the office to see another, older man with red hair that looked strikingly like her. He was sitting behind a desk. The girl called out, saying, "You called me, brother?" The young man turned and smiled, saying, "Why, yes, we need to talk about your future fiancé and marriage prospects, since you're going to be the heiress of the Gremory house. I wanted to wait, but sadly, our father said it must be done before he passed away tragically a little while ago. So we're preparing to talk to the Phoenix family next month." The young girl gets very upset hearing this. Her own thoughts were her desires did not matter at all. So she screamed out, "I hate you, brother. Why do I have to be with someone that I don't even know? I want to be the one that decides the person for me. And I will never talk to you again. I promise you on that. You're a horrible brother." She stormed out and slammed the door, with the older red-haired man in tears saying, "She hates me now. She thinks I'm horrible, and now she's going to refuse to talk to me. No, no, no." A silver-haired maid consulted him, saying, "Lord Zex, let's give her some time. I'll go find her soon, okay? Also, you really need to get over your kindness." He turned and said, "Thank you, my dear friend. No wonder why my wife trusts you so much. Also, I will never be getting over Rias. Rias is life." She smiled at him, felt a little bit upset, saying, "Why, of course, she's my best friend, after all." "I'm sorry, dear friend. That doesn't seem I'm going to be able to get him away from his sisconness." After all that, the young girl bolted through the mansion until she reached a small cove in a garden. She went there to cry, since it was so quiet and peaceful and would calm her down. At this point, she had finally stopped crying. When she turned her head up, so she heard a noise. Seeing a portal open up, it scared her. She wondered if she will die today. But looking at the portal, seeing what came through it looked to be a boy. As he blasted through the portal, she eeped when he crashed into her lap. As he passed out, she quickly turned him over and gave him, as she was eyeing him down, looking over every single bit of future, saying out loud, "He's so cute. I must protect him. Well, try not to drool over him." He had white hair, and she observed him. She noticed his other features. He had white hair. He was dressed in a black t-shirt with a brown jacket, had black pants, and he had what seemed to be boots. She could tell he seemed to be younger than her, but smiled, saying, "I think I've found my true love." And she truly believed in love at first sight. She blushed, thinking, "Why did I say that out loud?" So in the mind of the young boy, currently, he was wondering, who is that voice? What did it belong to? What happened to him? Suddenly a female voice boomed, saying, "I brought you to your father in my world, or dimension, or whatever you want to call it." Hearing that, the boy turned around to see a golden dragon, basically that design on the thumbnail, but with silver eyes. She was so pretty and shiny. He accidentally said his thoughts out loud. "You're such a beautiful and pretty and shiny dragon." The dragon blushed, saying, "You know how to compliment a woman, my pal." Bell realized what he did and blushed, saying, "You're welcome. So, where am I?" Dragon smiled and said, "We are in your mind, but I brought you to the underworld." Bell was completely, the young boy was completely shocked, saying, "So am I dead now?" The dragon shook her head, saying, "No, you're alive. But I'll need to explain some things to you, Bell. Some things to you." The boy shook his head. Bell sighed. The dragon sighed, saying, "See, your dad was from this world. Our dimension. No, scratch that. Let's just put this all in simpler terms. Basically, another universe. He got summoned to your other one by mistake somehow. I don't know how. He was actually tending to my gym at the shrine at the time to keep it safe. Still, his order from the gods of this world to keep it protected. But after he got to the other world, he explored a bit. He met your mother and became a venture. Find out he could only be blessed if he was transmuted into this world, but he had to do it by the soul. So after some intense research and understanding of an item, he created his own version of what it was be called by devils an evil piece. That will be explained to you later. That's it. I will help you when the time comes. When you were in mother's womb, I felt a connection to you, Adelina. Very powerful. So I went inside to her, and eventually took the form of a sacred gear within your soul. Normally, it would be impossible given dimensional rules, yada yada yada, but since you were born, you were actually from both worlds. Even though he did transmit his soul to be an adventurer, he still was another worldly being. It allowed me to be your sacred gear. It also means if you desire to return to your old world, you can be blessed by a deity. Something to think about, honestly, that could really help you out later on. The young boy, taking all that in, said, "Okay, I understand most of that thanks to you and some stuff Grandpa and Dad told me about, but first, what is a sacred gear?" As he tilted his head confused. The dragon nodded but chuckled a bit at his confused expression, which he thought was cute. Responding with, "It's a gear made by the biblical God, and I was sealed in one at my request. But I decided you to be my first user. You should be grateful, because I decided you to be my first before anyone else." The boy nodded, but kind of blushed at that. Finally asking, "What's your name?" "My name is Belle Cornell." She smiles and says, "My name is Arto, the holy, heroic dragon." Belle smiled, saying, "It's good to meet you, Arto. But may I ask, what are your powers or abilities, or what can you give me, or really anything at all?" She returned with a beautiful smile and a chuckle, saying, "You mean our power, since I decided to give it to you. As my pal, partner, friend, heck, mate, whatever word you want to pick. But I can't give you all of them. So let me start off with basically everything that's, in a sense, basic abilities I can give you. The first one I can give you is known as the Hoard of Heroic Treasures. It means to possess all the power, abilities, and items of weapons of heroic and divine beings, regardless of the universe you're in. So basically, you gain everything from every possible universe. Because I was, as the name suggested, a bit of a hoarder. So, that being said, you better learn to master all kinds of fighting styles, even weird ones. It'll really help you out later, in my opinion. The next ability is an increased power ability. It's called Heroic Limit Break. Increases everything, or how to put this in simpler terms, increases your speed, power, agility, intellect, response nature, things of that nature, until you can kill a god or divine entity with it. Dang it. It's an even more simple way to explain it to you, kid. I know, it basically raises everything about you, except for one thing, but I'll get to that in a minute. The next thing I can grant you is Heroic Growth. It lets you learn at an accelerated rate, depending on how much effort you put into the thirst of desiring that said knowledge and information. And it lets you grow at an accelerated rate as well, as the name suggests. Basically, what takes most beings like 10 years or lifetimes, depending on your willpower, your sense of self, and desire to grow, it could take as little as a few months to 5 years, which is pretty dang insane when you consider a lifetime could be immortal like a god. For your next ability, Heroic Spirits. Actually, one of my favorites. It makes the user, or anyone else the user casts the power on, become invincible for a short time. Basically immune to everything. Depending on you and that person's strength, though. But one of my most dangerous abilities I can grant in this current state is known as Heroic End. At the cost of your life force, you can end any one being completely. I hope you can understand why that is incredibly dangerous and should never be used unless it is a last resort. Now thinking about what else is there. As the dragon, Arto took a moment to think, saying, "Time is really getting away from us. To be honest, I know you need to wake up soon. First, come on, I know there's some more important stuff. Oh yeah, the blessing of the divine hero. For a limited time, it makes you immune to all divine weapons, divine powers, and light itself, meaning gods and angels cannot harm you. Plus, it does let you use holy powers of the divine origin, angel origin. Basically, you can match gods in this regard. That's also a passive ability, but it slowly gets more powerful as you get powerful. Right now, you could survive at least one hit. Finally, I know there was something else. I thought I told you earlier. Oh yeah, the other boost ability, Heroic Magic Limit Break. Increases all your magic power to an insane degree, making you equal to a fully powered magic god at the lower end, and basically the magic existence overlord, or whatever you want to call it, at the higher end when you get to its maximum. It is, as I said before, similar to Heroic Limit Break as a boost, but it grants you the ability to learn magic faster, so that should be it for now. I know I have a few more powers abilities, but I'll explain it to you when you get them, are more powerful, and can actually use them. Don't want to get you too hyped up. But if you meet my deadbeat sisters, especially that red and white one, and they bother you at all, let me out so I can whip their butts into shape. Normally you can't leave a sacred gear, but I worked out a deal with the person that sealed me, so I can actually. Bell, even though there was a lot to take in and process, even he admitted that, realized he was learning and taking it in pretty quickly. So basically, those abilities were already working. After taking some time to really comb over everything she said, he really had a dawning moment saying, wait, you're not just overpowered, you are, let's destroy everything, overpowered. If that's just your basic abilities, what about the rest? Or more advanced abilities? Or when my basic abilities become advanced abilities? I mean, given this, I can basically destroy everything. As he started muttering, like a certain green-haired boy in another universe. But she started to laugh and chuckle and got him out of it, saying, yes, but it's going to take a while to master it, to understand it, to control it. Basically, think of it this way. You're a newborn baby with this kind of power. With that said, kid, I take a very cool form as my base form, a golden glove with a silver gem in the center. We'll talk more later, but it seems you have a lovely little treat waiting for you. Here she giggled, quickly knocking Belle awake, Belle not knowing what she was talking about, opening his eyes to see the most beautiful crimson-haired girl he had ever seen, with the prettiest blue eyes to boot, and she was wearing such an adorable dress as well. He looked around and realized he was sitting in her lap while she was stroking his hair, memorized by him. She seemed to be in a deep blushing gaze, as if everything in the world around her didn't matter but him. Belle wondered why she was like that. When he tried to get up, she quickly pushed him down for saying, you can't get up just yet. You fell through a magic portal. It's best for you to rest. By the way, my name is she started a bit. Rias Gremory. What's yours? And she put her two fingers together, and Belle's only thought was cute. He spoke up, saying, my name is Belle Cornell. Though you are also the most beautiful and pretty girl I've ever seen. You beat a goddess in my eyes. Rias blushed very heavily hearing that, saying, thank you, Belle. Belle smiled, thinking, well, Dad and Grandpa, you're a picky-up girl lesson seemed to be paying off. You're still major pervs, though, in my book. Rias started calming herself down, and after a bit saying, so how did a human like you get here? Belle looked at her and thought about, saying, wait, you're not a human? Are you really a goddess, then? Rias blushed even harder after hearing that, saying, no, I am a devil. She showed off her bat wings. Belle just saying, they make you even more gorgeous. Rias, at this point, was a steaming, beet-red mess, while Arto was thinking, I literally got put inside the world's biggest playboy. Heck, even I would fall for that. Damn, he's good. Belle's own thoughts were, man, I know how to pick up girls, don't I? I know I should be thanking Grandpa and Dad, but also I shouldn't be able to do this at such a young age. He was basically in turmoil. Rias, basically, after all those compliments from Belle, was already getting lost in her thoughts and having some pretty wild ones as well. She got herself put together, but she still looked at the boy named Belle. He was the cutest boy she had ever seen. He looked like a bunny rabbit with his white hairs, but what she loved most was those crimson eyes. They matched her hair perfectly. He was the perfect person for her, and she'd make sure she would have him. Belle smiled at her, hoping it would make her feel better since she was clearly crying earlier. Belle was stroking her face with his hand, making her extremely happy. Belle was about to speak again when a voice could be heard saying, Lady Rias, are you all right? She walked in the cove for Belle to see a beautiful woman in a maid outfit and silver hair. But he realized something. He could sense she was about to kill him. But he heard Rias scream, stop. The woman stopped, looking at her, saying, my lady, this person could be here to kill you. But before she could finish any more thoughts, Rias got really angry, saying, first, he's a human, and he fell out of a portal. I was about to ask why. Fine. Is this how you treat a guest of Gremory? And yes, he is now my guest. Do I make myself clear? She sighed, saying, yes. She walked up, saying, hello there, my name is Gravia. I am the head maid of the Gremory household. He turned to her, seeing her blushing. He turned to her. Gravia started blushing hard. Belle smiled, saying, my name's Val Corral. Is that you, Miss Gravia? She coughed, looking away, saying, yes, it's nice to meet you as well. Now, can you stand up at all? Belle tried to stand up, but almost dropped to the ground, and Gravia caught Belle, saying, it seems you're a bit weak from the portal still. Here. She picked him up and gave him a piggyback ride. Belle blushed a bit, saying, thank you, Miss Gravia. I'll return the favor one day. She smiled with her and said, don't worry. I'm just doing my job, and my name is just Gravia. Belle smiled at her, saying, "Okay, but I insist on repaying it one day," making a mighty pouting face. Raphael's thoughts were, he was the most pure, adorable, cute, precious thing she had ever seen. Even with that pout, it made him even worse. I must protect, must protect, must protect, must protect. With a clear red face. His singers started to get extremely jealous. Walking into the mansion, they laid Bale down in a room, saying, "You can stay together with him, Rias, but I'm going to get your family there so we can figure out what's happening to him. What happened to him?" Rias smiled at her and whispered, "You can get to know the cute bunny rabbit more that way, too." Rias blushed, saying, "I'm not letting you win, though," as a venomous aura leaked out of her. Gracia smiled, but whispered with her equally venomous aura, "I will win that cute bunny rabbit." And walking away, Rias entered the room to see Belle was curled up in a ball, and it made her really mad. She walked up to him and chewed him out, telling him he should be laying in bed properly and resting properly. Belle saying, "Sorry, it's just I've never seen such luxury before, so I was scared I might break something." He's saying, "Huh? This is not normal for you? I mean, this is normal for me." Belle looking over the deadpan face, saying, "Well, I lived in a small house with just me and my family, things we made, and as Belle was saying this, you could just see his face turning completely dark as he was about to break. Seeing this reaction, Rias quickly reached out, grabbed his hand, and squeezed it tightly, saying, "It's all right. I'm here for you. Just let it out." Belle started crying, and Rias was hugging him tightly, saying it was all right. "I understand my dad passed away a few months ago. It's been hard on all of us." She repeatedly said it was all right over and over again. Shortly thereafter, 3 people walked in, that being Rias' mother, Rias' brother, and Grafia. Seeing the scene, they just let it play out. They knew whatever was going on was best for the boy. Once he was done, Rias' mother walked up, saying, "It's all right, little one. It seems you've been through a lot. But all we ask is you tell us what happened, okay?" She likely hugged him between her boobies. By the way, my name is Vanilla Gremory. Vanilla Gremory. I'm probably mispronouncing that so bad. My apologies. "May I know your name?" "Belle," as he started, "Belle Crenell. Also, you're really pretty, by the way." As he was stuttering, trying not to look her in the eyes while being greeted by those lovely boobies. Vanilla smiled, saying, "That's such a lovely name for such a cute little boy." Belle blushed hard, saying, "Thank you," with all 3 women now thinking we must protect this bunny rabbit at all costs, yet all looking at each other venomously. Sir Zex walked up, saying, "My name is Sir Zex Lucifer, and I am Rias' brother, so it's okay for me to ask you some questions." Belle nodded. Sir Zex said, "So how did you get here?" Belle was trying to think about it when Arto spoke up, saying, "You should say this. We'll keep the other thing about the other world a secret, since it's supposed to be for right now." Belle, listening to her words, finally came with the response she gave him. "I was being chased after my little hometown was destroyed by some monsters or beasts, whatever you want to call them. When I was about to die, a female voice spoke to me, and next thing I know, I was here." So I stopped out and said, "Do you know what the voice is?" "Hell no, it was a sacred gear?" As he turned his head confusedly, even though he knew what he was talking about, he thought that would be the best reaction to give. This caused everyone in the room to be shocked. Shazak's thinking, "Only gears I know that have voices are Langarius gears. This could be a great blessing in disguise if we could get him on our side." Shazak returned to the conversation. "Do you know its name?" Mel said, "Arto." Shazak pondered, not knowing the name at all. We'll just see how this pans out. Since this could be a brand new Langarius gear that was never discovered, which means we could have greater upper hand if the peace treaty, or the ceasefire more like it, ever broke. But Gravia, Rias, and Vanilla, hearing what had happened to Belle, just quickly hugged him, saying it's all right. He's safe now and he doesn't have to worry about anything. So Lex was thinking, wow, I was never this powerful back when I was his age. and realizing they just were pampering him a bit too much, with his sweat dropping, being very clearly on his face. There's X coughing caught everyone's attention, saying, "And how about this? After today, let's get you started on training on how to use your gear. Seemed to be the best course of action for you right now. Though, believe me, I am truly sorry for what you went through and all your losses. I can't imagine how bad that could have been to you." Balnod said, "Thank you. Your words are enough." Zex smiles as he waved it off, responding with, "So are you hungry?" But before Bell could respond, his stomach growled, and everyone in the room giggled a little bit. With Gravy saying, "Let's just go eat." But not before all three of them were clinging to Bell as he walked to the dining room. And even Sir Zex was like, "Why is he so popular? What the heck is going on?" The following day, Bell was in front of Sir Zex in a training room, with him explaining on how to draw on the Sacred Gear's power. Saying, "Bell, the easiest way to draw on the Sacred Gear is through emotion, intense emotion, making it take physical form. Do you understand, or do I need to make it more simpler?" Bell just nodded his head. So Sir Zex said, "Okay, then try it now." Bell concentrated on the feeling he had when he first heard the voice, tapping into it until he felt the energy of Arto, pulling on it and finally grabbing a hold of it. It circled throughout his body until a golden glove with his fingers out and a silver gem in the center appeared. Arto saying, "It looks nice on you." Bell blushed a bit, but said, "Thank you, Arto." Zex was happy, saying, "I'm impressed you activated it that easily." Bell nodded, saying, "It was simple. I chose the feelings I felt when I first heard the voice, and it seemed to let me access it pretty easily." Zex smiled, telling Bell, "You are very smart. Most people wouldn't even think of doing that. Do you know what powers you possess? Can you show me some of them?" Bell nodded, saying, "Yes, so far, this is what I figured out and what I can control right now." Zex nodded once more, back to Bell. He then tapped into what felt like some kind of portal, as a golden portal appeared, and he pulled out two small daggers. One was red with a serrated edge, and a black dagger that was smooth with weird hieroglyphs on them. They were some basic heroic weapons, but he felt such a strong pull towards them, especially the dagger for some reason. Zex seeing this act, "So, what is this?" With Arto speaking up to Bell, say, "Start out slow with him first. Let's be honest, if you explained everything I told you, he would be broken, so do it slow, but tell him everything. I know he can be trusted. I can tell that just by looking. And if he couldn't be trusted, I would have told you to run already, and I would have gotten you out of here, too." Bell in his own head agreed with her. He could tell he could be trusted, saying, "Well, one of the first abilities I can do, and I just showed you, is I can summon any heroic or divine weapon. But right now, this is all I can make except for one other thing. A sword, oddly enough." This shocked Sir Zex. He realized he could summon, like, the Excalibur in its original form before it broke. Maybe even some heroic weapons. Could that also mean he could summon Longinus Gears? If he could learn to control it. If this was true, it was a blessing in disguise that he ended up here at all. He could truly help out the demon race. He then asked, "So what else can you do?" He was wanting to know everything. So Bell told him solely what Arto spoke to him about before. By the end, Zersex was nearly broken. First of all, that's not all the power he can gain? This is just the base form? Even though he can only use those daggers and the sword and possibly one boost, he's so broken, even in his base form, if he learns to control it. He's in the top 20 of the strongest people in the whole world right now. He just doesn't have any of the strength or experience to back it up yet. But if he did... Sussex realized, I have the best teachers for this. Finally speaking aloud, "I want you to meet someone right now." Making a magic circle, saying, "Soji?" I think that's how you pronounce the character names. "Come here." Immediately. Within seconds, another magic circle appeared. A man in his late 20s wearing a Shimigami uniform. It's in a Shimigami uniform? I don't know how to pronounce that word. With a Hataro and a Haki over a kimono with a white cord tied to his back across his chest. Popping out of the circle, he turned around and looked at Zerzek, saying, "Yo, what do you need, boss?" Zex smiled, saying, I need you, my sword master, to teach young Belle here how to use swords, daggers, anything of that nature, since it involves a sacred game. The man laughed, saying, Sure, I don't mind. Turning around, saying, Hey there, kid, my name is Soji. What serves? Even though I heard it before. Just trying to be polite. As he raised his hand, Belle shook it, saying, My name is Belle Cornell, and thank you for being polite. He smiled, saying, That's a cool name. So I'm going to warn you right now. My training is greater than hell itself. And you have a choice to deny it right now, though. Belle shook his head, saying, No, I will learn. I want to become a hero. Soji smiled, saying, That's a great fiery spirit you have, kid, I can tell. You're going to be a good student. Belle nodded, but Arto said, Summon the sword and desummon the daggers. You understand why when you start training with him. Belle said, Thanks, in his mind, though he was confused. So Soji said, You can summon weapons, right? Giving those daggers in your hand? Belle nodded. He then asked, So can you summon swords as well? Because after all, I want to start training right now. Because you're already interesting the heck out of me. Belle then explained what he could do, with Soji saying, Well, you're just insane. I think I'm going to love teaching you now. I can't wait to toughen you up, kid. And once I'm done with you, trust me, no one will be able to kick your butt. Giving a huge thumbs up with a smile. Belle then summoned a sword, which looked like a simple katana, but it shocked Soji to the core, saying, That's my old blade. When I first picked up the sword, and how is it here? It got destroyed years ago. Belle answered, It apparently became a heroic weapon that I can summon? This made Soji smile, saying, Okay, but now you're going to have to live up to that sword, little one. I won't let anyone hold my weapon without having the knowledge to use it properly. They started training, and like he said, it was greater than hell itself. Whenever Belle would make any mistake, it was pounded out of him very fast and very quickly. So by the time it was for lunch, Belle was so incredibly sore he was rubbing his back as he walked into the dining room to see Rias and Vanilla. He sat down and was served his food. Rias scooted closer to Belle, asking, How was his day? Since he could tell he was in pain. Belle said, Tough, but I'll get used to it after all. I already learned the basics of the sword so fast my sensei was shacked. Well, I think I'm doing pretty well. Belle smiled at her really brightly. Rias blushed. Vanilla noticed this and thinks she's in love with him already. We'll still talk to the Phoenix family since we have to, but I think I'll turn down their offer, to be honest. This part I really want Belle as my son. No, wait, maybe I should make it mine, too. They're giggling a bit, with a bit of a lustful expression in her eyes. Raphael walked in, saying, Once you're done eating, you're going to do magic classes. For you. Rias, okay, Belle? He nodded, in between foot buds, while Gracie was thinking, I want to pinch his cheeks right now so bad. He's so adorable. He's too much like a rabbit when his cheeks are that puffy and big. Rias was thinking he's going to be my husband. I will not let Mama Gracie get him first. As it seemed to be a three-way death war glare between the women. In the study, Gracie is saying, This is a magic form. It's made after demonic magic. This is also how people and humans learned it. But since you do not have demonic energy, you cannot power it. Since, again, that means you're human. You have to make calculations or equations. Or, in the most simplest terms I can explain it, if you do this, then that will happen. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'll not. And Gracia handed him paper and books so he can study. With her going over Rias' normal lessons at the point. Rias could tell Belle was really, really struggling to get it all. So after Gracia left to go check on some of her other duties very quickly, Rias walked up and saying, What's wrong? Belle nodded his head, saying, I really don't get it, but I get it at the same time. It's weird. Saying, maybe this will help. Making a magic circle, just making simple lightning pop out of it. Belle looked at it and started to replicate it since he saw it, even though it kept failing over and over again. But after spending hours on it, he finally made lightning come out of this magic circle. When he turned to Rias and Gravia, he smiled so brightly it was as the sun was in the room, saying, Hey, I finally did it! As he jumped up with joy, just pure pride he did it. This caused both Rias and Gremory to have a to have a massive nosebleed with the words "too pure" coming out of their thoughts. They walked up to him after wiping their nose, saying, "That's great." Well, have a shaky thumbs up. It's creepy upon saying, "Okay, it's time for your high society slash manner classes with Miss Felina. After that, it will be dinner and bath time. Then straight to bed for you, young mister. And this will be your schedule for a while." Belle nodded, saying, "Okay, I understand." Walking away with Grafia to the dining room, sitting down on the table, and Vanilla saying, "Good evening. 2 hours before dinner, we will be going over various things that we will interchange throughout your stay here. It's proper greetings, dinner etiquette. I will also be teaching you how to dance and other minor things relating to high society. You need to know this, since you'll be in the underworld until we can get your sacred gear under control, since we don't want you getting hurt. And since we are a high status family, we need to keep up our high status. And since you are basically under our wing, our Patreon, whatever you want to think about it, you have to keep up this appearance as well. Do you understand?" Belle nodded his head, saying, "I will be the perfect gentleman by the time you get done with me." Vanilla smiled, saying, "That's amazing to hear. Now, we can get started with dining first." With that, she got really close to Belle, and he blushed a bit, but he focused on her teaching. She started out with the various spoons and forks, explained the proper ways to eat, and minor things as well. Belle honestly admits he messed up pretty bad, but Vanilla was very patient and understanding since he was just a little kid. Once she thought that was enough, she started teaching Belle proper greetings to use when meeting various people's tasks. Telling Belle he was doing an amazing job on it, even though he was struggling. But Belle realized it was getting more and more simple for him, realizing that knowledge ability was already helping out. By the end of the nearly 2 hours of this, Vanilla looked at Belle, saying, "You are doing so great. I wish I could have learned that fast." She thought possibly before the dinner arrived, she smiled beautifully at Belle, saying, "Here's a little reward for all your hard work." She quickly kissed Belle's cheek Vanilla thinking, "I might break my no peerage rule for this little cutie." Belle got red and said, "So if I do good, can I keep getting rewards like this?" Belle, trying not to blush and freak out, though he was completely nervous, with his head down, and Vanilla was going, "Too innocent, too pure, must protect," and was going completely nuts. So, snapping out of it, raising his head, saying, "Why, yes, if that's what motivates you, I will do everything in my power to give you as many amazing rewards as possible." Belle was so happy to hear that. He smiled, saying, "Yes, it will help. Thank you so much, Lady Vanilla." She chuckled, saying, "Please just let us. And the house sorts. Just my name, Vanilla. Okay." Blush and smile. Okay. "Of course, Vanilla's." She covered her face, saying, "I'll be right back." Walking out the door before I got a massive nosebleed. With her saying, "Again, how can someone like him be so pure, precious, and adorable like that?" Okay, thinking about it, I'll get married with him. There's no exceptions for this. I'll have to wait until he's older, but even if I have to fight Rias and Griffey on this, I will not lose. And as she smiled happily, knowing what she could do tonight to increase their intimacy, she chuckled madly for a bit. After this, Belle had a good meal and was led to the bath. He was still in shock on how big this whole place was, and he entered the bath and started relaxing, even though he was a little bit nervous still. But outside, not to his knowledge, a storm was brewing between all three women, with Rias, Grafia, and Vanilla in a three-way death stare down, as if they were trying to kill each other. Finally, Vanilla speaked up, saying, "How about truce and alliance until he gets older? Then we can fight out who's the head wife." The other two just nodded their head and entered the bath, kicking Belle out, with Rias saying, "You're going to be busy with us today, so we're playing right now. But first," and she grabs Belle's hand and drags him over to the stool and starts washing his back. Bell was trying to keep his head down on the ground since all of them were naked right now, and he was trying his best not to turn to a broken mess. But after she washed his back, they started fighting over whose lap he was going to sit in while relaxing in the bath. Bell ended up being in Vanilla's lap because he was just tired of all the fighting. This upset both Rias and Gravia, though, immensely, to the point where Bell promised he would alternate between who he'd sit in. This made them happy, though. Basically, this became Bell's daily life over the next month, getting one day off and doing the rest of what he was scheduled to do. Bell learned how to use basic lightning magic, with him starting to learn other magics. He had already become an advanced sword and dagger user. He was getting trained for other types of weapons, orthodox ones, but he was starting to learn everything he could. Mastering the greeting, table manners, he was learning how to dance. There's nothing he didn't put his mind to, but he openly admits he's been very greedy with the rewards from Vanilla, to the point where he recently asked her to sleep with him and hold him while he slept, and Vanilla said they could do this from time to time from now on, even though in her head she was like, score one for her. Though through his gear training for the past months, he figured out all the weapons he could summon right now would be in his world if he used their standards, would be like a low-grade adventurer level to a mid-grade adventurer level an item. And he just realized something. It completely depended on his strength, knowledge of the weapon, with skill and experience to back it all up. So he planned to train harder once he got a few years older and could handle it, to get stronger ones, since he truly wanted to see what he could pull out of this thing. With the heroic magic limit break in its base form, it let him boost his current magic by 2 times so far. He can only use it at most 3 times a day before he'd be at his limit. Heroic growth, like explained before, basically has no limit. He just has to meet the conditions and it works, as Arto explained to him. Heroic Spirit in the base form right now, depending on his current state, lets him use it on himself for about 5 seconds and 3 seconds on another person. Rias insisted on helping him because she wanted to help him, even though he was scared at first it might harm her. But Arto told me it would never do that, so he was calmed down for a bit and started using her to practice with it. Heroic limit break in the base form also depended on his strength, he realized. It only let him use it twice. But he was told by Arto that he was already at the peak level of a low-class devil without a boost, which is a great accomplishment to celebrate at his young age. And when it got noticed by the other 3, he got a mighty celebration with food. And that night, being sandwiched between Rias, Gremory, and Vanilla in one bed. Even though Bell kind of was broken for the rest of the following day. Though the power heroic end is currently completely locked by Arto for his safety, because she doesn't want him to use it without a good reason. The blessing of the divine hero, like before, is always active, but the limit of his base form, as he can only take so much right now before the invincibility breaks. But he realized he can make 2 spears of light right now. Bell was going to bed, getting ready for tomorrow. He was going to finally meet the Phoenix family, and he was happy because he could finally show off what he had been learning. But during this whole time, in a very secluded new hidden room that was made, there were maids and various servants fighting over pictures of a certain white-haired boy, with Gravia, Vanilla, and Rias monitoring all trades, including trades they're making themselves. But right now, there was a huge argument over the value of his smile. Like a wide smile with a wide smile versus a small one. A smile where he was shining brightly. How that one was better than this one. It was a fiasco. Sadly, Bill has not realized, but all the females in the Gremory household are starting to take secret pictures of him. A lot of them. But Gravia smiled smugly during this, making everyone look at her, saying, "So she has the ultimate picture?" and she shows off a shirtless Belle pic, and this made all the girls drool over it. It was a fun trade slash Belle fan club night. Yes, they basically call themselves the Belle fan club. Though Rias has returned to her room at this point, pulling out a small box from under bed, saying, "This heals all my problems away, especially for tomorrow." Dumping the contents on her bed, and scarily, she was now sleeping in a bed full of photos of Belle. During all this, Sir Zex knows what's going on, and his whole body was twitching. It seems it's not going to stop anytime soon. After sighing a bit, thinking how this one kid easily got all the ladies in the household and got a fan club, kind of irritated him that he was this popular this quickly. Sighing, Sir Zex started talking to a friend through a magic control, saying, "I really need your help. It seems even with all 9 king pieces, it's not going to be enough. So we need to make a unique one just for him." The man understood said, "How powerful is this kid's potential? And his gear's potential for that not even to be a feasible option?" So Zex said, "Honestly, I don't know how strong he is, and I don't and not knowing that really scares me. So it's best he's on our side and either becomes one of us or becomes an ally to us. But I want this to be done by the time he's 6. Do I make myself clear?" Voice on the other said, "All right. I can get that done. Let's try to make the ultimate king piece project, but I'm going to probably have to get Angel involved." Shizek sighed, saying, "I really don't want to get them involved, but you're right. Maybe this could build a relations. Contact them and tell them why, that you want to make a unique piece that could make possibly a Nephilim to help better our relations. Don't tell them the truth." Also stating that if we can truly get this done, maybe they could start building their own numbers. That would truly help us out. After hanging up, Shizek sighed deeply, saying, "I just hope nothing stupid happens tomorrow." But hearing the young Phoenix girl is Belle age, he hopes Belle will get along with her at least. After that, Belle was put in a suit, which made all the maids basically have nose speed levels at maximum at this whole given time. You stayed next to Greyfield with both Vanilla, Rias, and all 3 were secretly taking pics and trying not to pass out from the blood loss. Sex literally just looks at the situation and said, "Okay, no suits ever again after this. I am banning them on him. And I know those 3 are going to be fighting me tooth and nail over it." Sighing out loud again. The doors opening and the guests being let in. Walking in is Lady Phoenix, Riser, his brother, and his sister. Though his sister stops and blushes heavily at seeing Belle, through complete shyness, saying, "Hi there, my name is Ravel?" With a bright blush being on Lady Phoenix's face as well. Sex thinking, "Well, I can at least be sure I'd get a lot of devils out of this thanks to his looks," as he chuckles to himself a bit in his head. Belle did the proper gains that Phoenix found. When Lady Phoenix saw that, she said, "Why, what a very adorable boy you have there," while thinking, "He will be mine one day." Vanilla responds with, "Why, yes, he's a human, but he's going to be made a devil if he wishes. We've already discussed that. After some proper training, since he has a strong sacred gear." Clearly knowing what this friend slash very thirsty woman wanted, since they had both lost their husbands recently due to a battle. Vanilla gave a very scary smile to Lady Phoenix. But she responded in kind, "That's great to hear, but to think he'd be let into underworld. This boy must be very special, including that gear." The thought process was, I see what's going on. Well, if you think you can have him all to yourself, I'm going to make sure I get my daughter with him, so he can also be mine." As she starts showing a scary smile as well. Vanilla nodded, saying, "That he is. Now, would you like to join me these other two for some tea on the hill in the backyard?" Thinking I'll get him first. Sir Sex just sweating bullets, thinking, "Okay, is this kid some natural yandere maker or yandere turn on or something. I don't know what's going on, but from what I know from anime, they're starting to act like yanderes, and this is not good. Especially given how my mother's power of destruction is even stronger than mine, and I do not want to not exist right now. Revel got close to Belle and started talking to him, with her mother noticing basically her instant love for the boy, thinking, good, I got something to tease her over and help me gain the boy at the same time. My daughter, you have great taste. I'm so proud of you. But during all this, Riser was looking at Belle with disgust, thinking not only was this boy beneath him, but how dare he steal the attention of women so easily. His brother was wondering why he felt a dragon's presence of everything that was possible within the boy, thinking, could there be another dragon sacred they didn't know about? They had been all sitting at a large table and began to discuss things, with Rias looking very upset. Vanilla knowing what she wanted. She wanted Belle, and even though she didn't want to share him, but they've decided they have to. So she just basically came up with a plan to end this marriage talk today once and for all. Saying out loud, since her husband has passed away, even if this is what he wanted with Lord Phoenix, well, I was saying this, and Lady Phoenix was speaking to my son about this with me. Riser was leering at me with lust, with Graphia in his sights as well as my own daughter. What a disgusting pig. Belle was a true gentleman, treated everyone with respect, apologized if he had done something wrong, like when he saw me naked, even though I did that on purpose, but he quickly shut the door and was Dama style or whatever it's called on the ground, apologizing profusely for it, but I just thought it was so cute and told him it was alright. And he even owns up to his own mistakes and tries to make himself better for it. He's a 4-year-old boy, for crying out. I just flat out loud. I wish all male heirs were like this. It'd make them so much easier to deal with. My son speaks up throughout the whole conversation, looking at me and finally asking, this arranged marriage with Razor, what do you think? Vanilla just sighed, saying, no. No need. I know who Rias wants in the end, so I'm marrying this marriage after all. The people who want it are no longer around, and I don't really feel comfortable with it. Then Phoenix spoke, saying, I agree, I've been wanting to discuss ending us anyway. After all, my son is becoming a pig, and an idiot at that. She's better off without him. Riser was shocked and looked at his mother to only see pure hatred in her eyes, and screamed, what? I am no such thing. I am the greatest Phoenix alive. Lady Phoenix looked at him, saying, then why are you looking at my friends and Rias with such obvious lust that is downright disgusting and inappropriate? It proved to me you're not only unfit to be Rias' future husband in my eyes, but unfit to be even an heir in my eyes. Riser got angry, saying, what I'm doing is just normal, what a man should do. After all, these ladies need a man, not some boy. Trust me, I can make them feel satisfied here. As he looked at Belle with complete disgust and anger. This caused all three of them, even Riser's own mother, Graphia and Rias, and Vanilla, to look at him with not only disgust but pure anger. But before they could say or do anything, a spear light shot forward, piercing Riser in the stomach, causing him to fly back as he coughed up blood and was barely alive because it hit him so hard. Everyone turned to look at Belle, his eyes that were always full of life, so much love and purity in them, were now lifeless and cold, as if he was looking at prey. They could clearly see his anger was immense, as an aura surrounded him, started leaking out. They could tell a powerful dragon's aura. But before anyone could react, Belle disappeared, with the words heroic limit break and heroic magic break being heard. As not one but 10 magic spheres quickly appeared and stabbed Riser, killing him instantly before he could even react. Belle walked above him, saying, this is for insulting them. No one insults the people I care about. But Belle just dropped, not realizing what was going on. As everyone rushed over and looked at the boy, Lady Phoenix and her whole family just looked at the disappearing body of their child. The other four, being scared of what was going to happen to Belle, with all them stealing souls and promised each other, with one look in their eyes, if they try anything, they will end the Phoenix family. But without any hesitation, Lady Phoenix said, "That's what you get for being so stupid. Maybe this was for your own good." With Ravel and his own brother, saying, "I completely agree with this, Mother." This shocked the other four, saying, with their mouths dropped open, with Lady Phoenix turned around saying, "Well, see, ever since my husband died, Fiancé got more arrogant, pig-headed, believing he was the best of the best. That he was perfect, that no one could defeat him, that all the women in the world should bow to him, yada, yada, yada. I was honestly about to disown him at this point. But, to be honest, his own peerage hated him, to the point where they were begging me to take them all in. So when we get back, I will. But I would like to talk to Belle and introduce them to him as well, if that'd be alright. I think they'd like to know the person that saved them." As she picked up the king piece that was laying on the ground. Once they left, Belle was rushed to his room. But while this was happening, Sir Zex was quite upset. He knew the Phoenix clan had been given a king piece due to the fact of his relationship with his father. He hated it. But he did realize something. It now had the regenerative properties of Phoenix. He was going to ask for that back, because he knew what he needed to do. Now, after this had happened, the three women were in front of Belle's room, but surrounding the whole mansion, it was evident. Even though Belle had only been up here for a month, they're a huge part of everyone's life. So while Belle was in a deep sleep and everyone was worried, sick about him, was worried what would happen to him, and hopefully he was going to get better, Arto said to him, "Good job, kid, good job. Now, I want you to one day let this whole world know my name once more. As the name Arto once meant the world saver or ender, I will make sure they never forget that ever again, since it seems I was forgotten with time. I also need to ask him, what is he preparing to sacrifice next time we talk?" And she decides to curl up around him as she brought the sleeping Belle into his mindscape, because she wanted to make sure to keep him safe. While this was all going on, many various things were going on in the background. But we could see a certain magical girl was while looking at photos, saying, "I have got to meet this absolute cutie right now. I know Sona's supposed to be the cutest in the world, but he rivals her. I want to know this little cutie patootie so bad." That being said, I hope you enjoyed this What If. I'm hoping you liked it, because I knew it was a much longer one than I normally do, because I thought, hey, I might as well give you guys a long one. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is Real Guardian. I'm going to be signing off, and you guys have a great night. See you guys next time.